All right, the next thing we can do with the machine here is actually jog the axis without using the handle. We're gonna use buttons to jog the axis. So it's really easy in the Haas control. Again, you just choose your mode here. You'd go to handle jog, just like we did with the handle. And honestly, the handle will work. But if you wanted to, you can also just use the buttons. And to use the buttons, you have to hold them down for like 1 second. And now it will move back and forth by the direction you're pushing it. So you want Z to come down. You can see that goes there, Z up. You just have to hold it for 1 second, and then the axis will take off. If you want to control the increment, that's what the bottom of this is. So the top of these handle jog buttons there, this is the increment of how it's going to jog. So this is 1/10 again per click. Well, it's also 0.100 thou per minute. So that's very slow. 1 inch a minute, 10 inches a minute, or 100 inches a minute. So to give you a reference here, here's 1 inch a minute. We'll put it into that mode. I'm just going to hold the X down. And you can barely even see it moving. 1 inches per minute is very slow, but as I'm holding it, you can look on the screen and you can actually see that it is still moving. So if I go to 10 inches a minute on here and hold this down, you will see very slowly the table is moving. And again, you can see it on the screen there, X is moving back and forth. Now this is one where you can use this button if you're gonna use the buttons here to control the movement. That's 100 inches a minute, which isn't crazy. So I'm gonna go to 100 inches a minute, and then I can take the X again, and that's what that looks like. The one thing interesting about the feed rate buttons here is if I want to, on the control panel, there is this override area. And on here, when I'm using the buttons, I can take the feed rate and slow this down. Like I'm hitting -10, that's -10%. So right now I hit it twice, so it brings it down to a feed of 80%. So that will slow down the increment of feed here. And if I want to, I can slow it down to 50%. So if I want to slow it down even farther, or I can speed it back up again, just by playing with these overrides. So these overrides do control the button movement of the machine. Otherwise, that's it for jogging. You can use those buttons. Some machines only have buttons. Some machines only have a handle. This has both. Use it what you're more comfortable with. For me, I enjoy the handle because I know exactly how far it's moving per click. And when I get close to something, I can make that controlled adjustment by knowing, just counting the clicks as it's moving. So, but some people do love the buttons and some people are only used to buttons. So those are both options. You can do the same exact thing that we just did here in the VF0 with the Mini Mill. They're exactly the same, so nothing's gonna change.